Okay, back again with a market update for real estate in our area. Like I said the other day, I'm going to do market updates for either a county, which I did Harford County the other day, or I'm going to do a zip code in around the Baltimore Metro towards Cecil County, Delaware, kind of along the I-95 corridor and the eastern, southern Pennsylvania area, kind of that circle. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so we're doing Aberdeen, Maryland this week. Kind of, the market I deal with most, but we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do a lot of zip codes. Starting with dollar volume. There's total sales basically for all the homes that sold in Aberdeen, and it's up 30%, which is crazy. So, but it's not as crazy as it sounds, because last year was just abysmal. And as we remember, when the rates spiked, a lot of sales got canceled because sellers realized that they were going to get a terrible rate with the new home that they purchased. So I think that's going to stay that way, because people who have these awesome mortgages want to keep them, and eventually if they want to move up, they're going to eventually just start renting those homes out, which makes a lot of sense. If you have a 2.5%, 3% interest rate, it makes sense to keep that asset and just benefit from that cheap money and rent that home out, because rents are skyrocketing. So just, and we do property management. So if that's a discussion you want to have, feel free to give me a call about that. Basically, if you have a low rate, you want to move up, renting is a very viable option. We can screen and get you an awesome tenant, and you'll probably end up making a nice profit on rental income with a good tenant. So average sold price up slightly, about 5%. That's in line with inflation, just about over the past year. Units sold are up 22% in Aberdeen. Days on market are up also, which is a little. The days on the market is up about 4 days, 25%. And one of the other things I didn't highlight is the average sold price to the average list price, original list price ratio. Last year was 99% in Aberdeen. We saw in Harford County overall it was 100%, and it went down to 99.3%. So people were taking a little tiny bit less than they were last year, but based on their list price. List prices are still going up. A lot of FHA and VA sales, usually indicating a higher percentage of first-time buyers here in Aberdeen. So, if you looked at Harford County overall, there were a lot more conventional and cash deals. And in this case, we have a lot more. And one of the other things to notice is that there were 77% more townhomes or attached units sold than and the detached units were only up 4%. So 77% increase in attached units sold. And the pricing for townhomes has skyrocketed as well, with the demand in the first time home buyer sector. There's just not a lot of properties for people just entering the market. So we're going to take a peek at month over month. This is just a preface to the next slide, where I talk about absorption and what's happening overall in the market. We're going to see some of these markets soften a little faster than others. And I believe Aberdeen, places like Edgewood, Elkton, some of these areas are going to soften a little faster. They've just always been a little bit more volatile than, Havre de Grace, Bel Air, Falston, those areas. And around Delaware, Newark, Bear, Middletown, Hockinson. These markets have just been a little bit more stable. And Aberdeen is kind of in the middle. But we'll talk about that next week. I'll probably do Edgewood next or Havre de Grace next. I'm not sure which one, but we'll be able to see the differences. But month over month, it's really not a good indicator, because some of these sales happened last month and then maybe they sold right before the month end, or they got pushed to this month. So it's really hard to really gauge a month over month. That's why we like to look at year over year. Okay, so we'll talk about absorption. Last week I did talk about what absorption is. It's basically the number of months of inventory that's on the market. And last year there was less than a month of inventory on the market in Aberdeen, meaning basically a home got put on the market, it got sold. More homes got sold, and more homes, there was more demand for homes than there was that people could put up on the market. So basically the demand was outpacing supply. This year in June, absorption is up to 2.4. Now it could be new homes entering the market, that kind of thing, but it's tripled. Okay, we know absorption. The buyer's market, let's go back up. What's considered a buyer's market is 6 right here. And right now we're at 2.4. So we have to go up to 6 for it to be, it's what they call a buyer's market. That's kind of subjective, but either way, if there's 6 months of inventory on the market, then it's very attractive to buyers. Demand's is definitely going to be slower at that point, and rates hopefully will be coming down. Now, if rates are high and we got 6 months of inventory on the market, that's kind of a weird situation, but I think that the rates are actually going to start dipping a little bit, and we'll also see inventory go up, which is a good thing. But yeah, to summarize this slide, it's starting to slide back towards a buyer's market very slowly, but it's not as crazy as it was. I think that into next year, as rates come down, more inventory becomes available from somewhere. Like I said, if people want to rent their homes, that's one thing, but there still won't be much to buy on the other end. So we still have to level out inventory, which is the huge dilemma. And new homes will help with that. There's a lot of construction in Aberdeen, so that's helping with inventory. Interest rates. We kind of went over the same slide. I didn't really update it because it's really a monthly chart and not really a weekly chart. But basically, interest rates are about the same as where they were last year. They did spike earlier this year, actually at the end of last year, and then dipped at the beginning of this year. We're expecting a rate cut in September, hopefully, and then mortgage rates hopefully to follow. So I've heard as much as a 0.5 point, which would be amazing. Cutting a 0.5 point would definitely help a lot of people. And we'll cover the highest sale of the month in Aberdeen. This is a beautiful home. It's a nice picture too with the sunset out there. 333 Marina Ave in Aberdeen. It's a waterfront property. It looks like they have comes with a dock. Sold for $925,000. So these are definitely spiked in pricing. I remember they were in the $500,000 range. So it looks like massive increase in value in these properties out there on the waterfront. One other thing out there is that they halted that big development out there in Perryman where they were going to build like 1 million square feet of warehouse space. So that could have an impact. I think that if that project were to move forward, these values would dip tremendously. So that's about it. If you have any questions about the market, here's my information. You can also visit our AI-generated home value estimate website, truehomevalue.ai. Just put in your information. An artificial intelligence generated AI value will come to your email, and I can also kind of expound upon that value and give you some more detailed analytics. But it's kind of a good thing to keep an eye on this market. Think about whether you want to, if you have a good rate, whether you want to rent that property out and upgrade at some point. So that's about it. Thanks a lot for sticking around, and I will see you next time. Bye.